What's up, what's up? So today we're going to talk about Illinois pushing through a bill to tax you on your crypto. And it's taxing you in a way that is just completely atrocious. Probably not even legal, but what can you expect from governments these days that just want to extract? So basically, what they're going to try and do, and we'll see, is they're going to try to implement a tax on all transfers of crypto. So this isn't like you're buying and selling crypto. This is they're taxing you on the movement of your crypto. So just moving it from exchange to wallet, one wallet to another wallet, is now they're trying to make a taxable event. They're trying to extract that money from you, which is completely absurd, right? It's completely absurd. I did a post on X the other day talking about this, that hey, as an American, if you're not American, this is American perspective, but as an American, it's basically in our DNA, right? It's the reason why we're in America, because we left corrupt countries, right? Where we left countries where we weren't able to live and to operate as we thought we should be able to. And so we're like, you know what? Yeah, it's tough crossing the ocean. Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but screw it. It's better than living under whatever the oppressive regime is for whatever reason. And you left and you moved to greener pastures, and so that you can build a life that you want, right? That you're excited about, that you're happy. And obviously it's not easy, but it's what we did. And it's situations like this in the modern era that should kind of call to your roots and call back to your American DNA, right? That your American heritage, if you're in America, that you don't want to put up with this stuff. So one option, this is in Illinois, one option is you just sit there and take it. And you're like, you know what? I like Illinois so much, I'm going to pay this extra cost to live there. But the question is, where do the costs stop? Okay, when is enough enough? When are you going to be like, you know what? Like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of being nickel and dime. I'm tired of being left out for participating in a market because they're imposing arbitrary costs to take from me versus other places and other states. The beautiful thing about America is that it's all America. And so you can get up and move to different states in the country that are more fitting for your goals, your values, your lifestyle, whatever it is. Okay? And I've done that, right? I used to live in Colorado, love Colorado. I grew up in Missouri, right? Missouri is not a bad place either, but I moved to Nevada. And one of the reasons I moved to Nevada was because there was no state income tax, which is great. So there's, costs in other ways, but having that no state income tax was worth it. And so while I love Colorado, was I willing to stay there and pay the extra tax on my income versus going somewhere else? I was like, you know what? It's not worth it. Right? It's not worth it. I don't love it that much to pay that extra tax. And that's income tax, right? So you have options within the United States to compare cost of living in different places, different cities, right? And see, hey, which one's better for me? Which one's, is this a strategic move to pick up my life and go somewhere else where it fits my financial goals, my lifestyle goals, my family goals, all of those things, right? How do I want to live? And I know I'm saying this and you might be, well, it's not that easy to pick up and move. And yes, I can understand that. I'm young, I'm single, so I'm not married, don't have kids or anything like that. So it wasn't too hard for me to move. And I didn't own a house before I moved out here. I own one now, so I know it's, those planting roots, it makes it a little bit harder to move, but it's not impossible. It's not like some insurmountable feat. It's not nearly as hard as getting into a ship, right? Becoming an indentured servant to pay your way across the Atlantic in order to be able to practice religion freely, in order to be able to own some land, in order to be able to be out from under the thumb of the whatever oppressive monarchy that you might have found yourself in back in the day, or your ancestors might have found themselves in back in the day. So it's totally doable. And especially with the internet in today's day and age, you have the information. Like policies like this, obviously it's on crypto, and crypto didn't exist before the internet, but policies like this, these are things the governments have been doing forever, right? Finding just little subtle ways, and they do this well beyond crypto, right? I kind of in the camp that most taxation is a form of theft, right? Just like they inflate the money, they print the money, so they devalue your purchasing power, and you get no benefits from that. people close to the money printer do. And this is why, why we like crypto, why I like things like Bitcoin, why I'm hopeful for the future there, even though we're in this, dirty bear market right now. But these types of things were much easier to kind of slot in and start taking advantage of people before the internet, because you couldn't go look this stuff up. Stories wouldn't necessarily go viral in the same manner. And now with the internet, stuff like this happens, and you can see it if you choose to open your eyes. A large majority of people will choose to be sheep, right, and will choose comfort over fighting back and pushing back and fighting to live a life that they want, that they're happy about, that they that they're excited about, that they can live without being fully exploited. Right? There's always some level of exploitation in the world today, but there's ways to push back and reduce and minimize that. And so there's a group of people that will push back, that will say, you know what, I'm done, I'm out, I'm going to vote, right? Because obviously your votes, they don't matter as much as you think that they do. I wish they did, right? I wish they did, but I just don't think they do in this day and age, right? Especially with all the political division and all that kind of stuff. And the best way to vote these days is to vote with your feet, vote with your wallet, make the lifestyle changes that you want in order to live the life that you want. And often that means saying, hey, it was a good time, Illinois, I'm out, right? And there's a group of people that will do that. But there's also a group of people that won't do that and will sit back and complain, or just be willingly and compliant. They'll be the sheeple that are compliant and just happily let their government continue to extract from them, and they'll justify it. They'll be like, well, it's so great, right? The policy, this city's so great, I'll pay any cost. New Yorkers. So that's another, they haven't imposed a similar, I don't think they've tried to do a similar tax on this specific thing. But just an example when it comes to crypto of people love New York City, but the regulations around crypto are just awful, right? In New York City and New York State. And so if you want to be involved and be able to participate in the crypto markets, it's like New York's not necessarily the best place for it. And America, with Trump in office, saying that he's going to make it the crypto capital of the world, he hasn't done a good job with that, unfortunately. We'll see how the next 2 years go. And we are in that bear market, and so if he ends with a bang, hey, it could be good. But he hasn't done great so far with making America crypto capital of the world. We'll see what comes out in the future there. But when you see stuff like this, right, you have to ask yourself, hey, what type of life do I want to be? What type of participant in the market do I want to be? Is this so important to me that I say, hey, I'm out, I'm moving? And the cool thing here, in America, it's easy to go between states and between places, but even more so now, more and more people are voting by leaving the country, becoming expats, going places where the people are nice, where the cost of living is down, where they can actually live and enjoy their life without being just completely exploited and exposed by the money printing, corrupt governments, and all of that. And there's a more complex dynamic there. That's a video for another time. But with the internet, you can go look up, hey, what are the best places for expats? What are the costs of living? How much money do I actually need to live an enjoyable life? A place that comes to mind, because I've traveled there for work a few times, is Thailand, right? People over there are amazing. Like, they're super nice, welcoming people, and your dollar goes so much further in a place like Thailand than it does in the United States. Like, when I look for, just as an example, when I look for hotels in the United States, if you pay $150, like, it's a sale, and you get just a basic level like Marriott hotel, and that's like $150 up to $300 a night these days for a hotel. In Thailand, you can pay $150 to $300 a night, and you get a 5-star hotel with like gourmet buffets, with amazing service, beautiful rooms, really cool location, all for $150 to $300 a night. And that's not even like trying to find the deals. They're everywhere over there. It's incredible. You could have that 5-star experience. And once you do that, when I first did that and went there, my mind opened up to kind of some of the lies that you've been sold and led to believe just living in the Western world, and just in terms of like the cost to actually live and enjoy life. Because that 5-star experience in the Western world is not much different than what it is over there, except it's significantly cheaper. Instead of paying $1,000 a night, $5,000 a night, you pay $300, and you get just as nice a thing. The food is just as good. Okay, the rooms are just as nice. In fact, you can even say that the service is even better over there versus what it is here for that level. And it should get you start to think, how can I restructure my life, my work, what I'm doing, the path that I'm on? And this doesn't happen overnight, right? That's just the reality. You have to plan for this stuff. But it's like, how can I learn what's out there? And then how can I take the actions that I need to take in order to unlock that for me? Whether it's, again, moving to another state, setting up, it could be just, setting up better financial planning and wherever you're at. Or maybe it's, hey, you want to become an expat. Maybe it's not full expat, but certain months out of the year. Right? There's options and opportunities out there that are open to you now greater than ever before. And I'd be like, okay, well, Dylan, how's this tie into crypto? Well, the great thing is with the internet opening up, with crypto being open source, no, you can just choose to do things. You don't have to get necessarily someone's permission. Like, you can just make a decision, be like, okay, how can I take the steps in my life to make that happen? Right? If you're in a place that you don't like, if you're in a job that you don't like, you're here on YouTube, you're watching these videos, you're watching a guy make a video who, has traveled to Thailand for work, has traveled all over the world for work, who has built a business working online, helping people. So I don't have to be tethered to any one location. I can work whenever I want. I work a lot because, I'm a hard worker and I enjoy my work, but it's out there. And you just need to develop the skills and position yourself so that you can do that. Okay? So I know it's crazy, but you want to keep your eyes open. And if you're watching this, I want you to be an alert person, someone who takes initiative, someone who recognizes when the situation that they're in doesn't have to be the situation that you stay in. It doesn't, whatever it is, whether it's where you live, whether it's the lifestyle that you're living, like the daily habits and routines, whether it's, relationships, whether it's your job, whatever, you have the power to change that, and you have the power to change that in a smart way, because the information is available at your fingertips. And one of the powerful ways, just, shameless self-promotion, but I got the link to the arsenal down below. Using AI today unlocks the internet, unlocks information to a greater extent than ever before, right? Your ease of access of not only getting the information, right? Seeing what's out there for real. Now, there's some censorship in AI, but, within reason. But then also being able to navigate that information and understand it is greater than it has ever been in human history. And it'd be a shame if you watch videos like this, if you see situations like what's going on in Illinois with the bill for taxing movements of crypto, absolutely insane, and you don't start asking yourself, do I want to stay where I'm at, right? Hey, maybe where you're at's great, but if it's not, do I want to stay here? And if not, what do I need to do and where do I need to go so that I can live life on my own terms? That's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm working towards. That's why I'm sharing this content, that's why I'm sharing this information, that's why I make these videos, so I can inspire more of you to take that leap for yourself in a smart, strategic way, obviously. You don't necessarily have to go all Leroy Jenkins, but in a smart, strategic way, so that 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, you look back on your life and you're excited and happy about the choices you've made, the work you've done, and where you've positioned yourself. So that is it for this video. Subscribe below. Check out the arsenal if you want to learn more about AI and how you can use it for all sorts of fun things. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.